Yo guys, sorry, you already know that today we are back reading some more Danganronpa Zero. Today we are going to be reading chapters 7 and 8 that are combined for some reason. So I don't know where chapter 7 ends, I don't know where chapter 8 begins. So I will probably read both unless it starts to become really long. Oh man, my voice sounds so weird today. It is a little bit early in the morning, so I still have a little bit of that tired voice, and I have some allergies kind of acting up, so if that's really coming through, that is why. But, you know, the deal. We are going to read some Danganronpa Zero. Hopefully y'all enjoy. So go ahead and relax as we read more of this story. On the last one, we had Junko and Ryoko meet up, you know? So, yeah, Junko is starting to do some stuff, and it's never anything good. So we will see what more happens, because I don't really know where the story is going, despite the fact that there's a lot left of it. But alright, let's go ahead. Now that's a truly strange woman, Ishiki Madurai whispered to himself while running. Yes, Ryoko ran away because Junko left her to fight Madurai here. But now Ryoko's just like running away because, like, yeah, obviously. It wasn't that he wasn't careful, quite the opposite. That was exactly why he was outsmarted. He couldn't have guessed from her actions that she would run away like this, but in hindsight he realized that what she did was only natural. A cornered mouse will bite the cat, or so the proverb goes, but in reality it's very rare to find a mouse who would bite a cat. Even when they're seriously injured, can hardly move, and completely cornered, a mouse's first thought is still to try to escape. That's just a mouse's true nature. She's the ultimate mouse! And that girl who turned heel and escaped is just the same. In other words, it's in her nature to run away. In that case, all I have to do is catch her, and this will be over in no time. His mouth twisted in a cruel smile. His face was that of a hunter chasing his prey, but his true goal wasn't simple, relentless predatism, and that cruel smile was perhaps a little excessive. I'll catch her, and after giving her a good beating, I'll make her tell me everything about that incident. The worst, largest incident in Hope's Academy's history. You're gonna be chasing after the wrong girl unless you're going after Junko. Oh, man. Madurai hated that incident and everyone involved in it. Right now, getting revenge for the incident was the only thing driving him. It gave him motivation. He got his chance a few hours ago when he received a suspicious anonymous message. Junko Inoshima, who knows the secrets behind that incident, is going to show up in the Central Plaza. The possibility of it being a trap had crossed his mind, but he didn't care. Even if it had been a trap, it would have been an opportunity to see who set it up. I'm going to get my revenge. I must get my revenge. I still have someone who needs protection. Okay, so Junko tipped off both Ryoko and Madurai and basically set up this whole thing to just have people fight and, I don't know, cause despair, I guess, probably. Probably not much deeper than that. Who knows? There was a flame burning inside his eyes. The moment he caught sight of his prey running ahead of him, he increased his own speed dramatically. The long hair flew behind him as he closed the distance between them in an instant. In no time at all, he would be able to reach out his arms and catch her. It's over. He pushed his left foot strongly into the ground and reached out with a long right arm. He could feel his fingers touching his prey's hair when something happened. The prey suddenly changed direction with a sharp turn, almost as if she was slipping through Madurai's hands. Taken by surprise, he lost his balance. She had timed her move perfectly, almost as if she planned it all ahead. Gah! Madurai clicked his red tongue loudly and was soon back on his feet. He turned back towards his prey and started running again, and he quickly noticed something strange. His prey running ahead of him was doing something ridiculous. What the? The prey was writing something in a notebook as she was running. Dude, I actually think Ryoko might just be the ultimate multitasker, because the fact that she can run while doing some of these ridiculous activities and then that writing still be legible in the future is insane. That is an ultimate talent if I have ever heard of one. Huh? Writing while running, that's clearly impossible, however you look at it. He was bewildered. It wasn't just that he couldn't understand why she was doing it, but he did not expect his prey to do anything other than simply try to escape. Isn't she just a mouse running away from danger? Does she actually have a plan beyond escaping? But it could also be a bluff. Just like when she first ran away, she might be taking advantage of his vigilance in order to obtain a chance to escape again. Well, whatever it was, Madurai didn't have time for hesitation. His desire for revenge for the worst, largest incident in Hope's Academy's history was too intense for him to give up now. He recklessly increased his speed and was soon within reach of his prey once again. This time, it's really over. He reached his right hand towards his prey's blind spot and grabbed her. Dude, he's so much faster than her, apparently, because he keeps, like, stopping and being like, oh no, she got away, and then, like, running, and she's like, oh, but actually, I'm just, like, right there, by like, the descriptions. No, all he grabbed was empty air. Once again, with timing that seemed precisely calculated, his prey suddenly changed course. Madurai still pulled forward by leftover energy, saw a huge tree emerging from the darkness in front of him. He thrust his arm forward in panic, and the palms of his hands was soon met with the roughness of the tree's bark. What the hell is going on? Madurai kicked to the ground in anger and was soon, back in full speed. His prey was quickly within reach again, but as he reached his arms to strike her, he managed to slip away and escape again. I can't catch her? Even as that realization slowly dawned on Madurai, he couldn't explain it. She wasn't even turning her head to look at him. Her eyes were constantly on her notebook. How was she able to avoid his arms, coming at her from behind her back? She wasn't even avoiding him clumsily. She did it with perfect timing. It was almost as if she could see what was going on behind her back. No, that can't be right. Her timing is far too perfect to be something as simple as that. It's like she knows what's going to happen in advance. You've got to be kidding. Madurai shook off the thought from his head and accelerated to full speed again. Soon he was at his prey's defenseless back, reaching out his arm once again. The moment he was about to touch her, just as expected, the prey dodged his hand and escaped. This time, however, Madurai anticipated it and turned his body sideways to match her movement. He extended both of his long arms and jumped toward the prey. It was a spectacular tackle. He had her. Or so we thought. Ah, haha. What? It was as if she knew he was going to anticipate her dodge. She crouched again with perfect timing and passed by Madurai's feet like a turtle, causing him to clumsily twist his body forward and crash violently onto the ground. Madurai lay on the lawn for a short while, unable to move. He wasn't in pain, but a different kind of damage had been inflicted upon him. That mental damage that just, like, he just beat you. What are you going to do about it? What the hell? At long last, he got back on his feet, shook his long hair from his eyes, and searched for his prey. He could see her figure running away, already small in the distance. As he watched his escaping prey, Madurai whispered to himself in an amazed tone, "I'm begging you, please don't tell me she has precognition." Precognition? That's probably what he's thinking right now, but no such thing exists, of course. No, it probably does exist somewhere in the world, in this world at least. I like to think dreams sometimes mean something, but there's no way such a hackneyed power would awaken inside me during a dangerous situation. This isn't a comic book after all. Oh no, this is something completely different. No, this isn't something as outrageous as precognition. These are just predictions. I've been analyzing the things he seemed to think and the actions he took, and predicting the actions he was likely to take next. That's what my notebook taught me my talent is. What? That's what my notebook taught me my talent is. Got it. Super analytical proficiency. I've been using my talent in predicting his next moves by analyzing his behavior patterns statistically. That's all. Oh! So like the ultimate analyst, I guess? Interesting. That said, that kind of analysis requires a vast amount of data. Without data, I can't predict anything at all. That's exactly what Ryoko Utanashi's memory notebook is for. I've been extracting behavior patterns from his speech and actions and have been exhaustively writing them down as usable data in my notebook. The battle between Madurai and Enoshima-san was a particularly important source of data. She attacked Madurai using a variety of techniques and possibly even let herself get hit on purpose. Now that I think about it, she was probably trying to show me as many of his attack patterns as she could. I have no idea why someone like Enoshima-san would do something like that for me, but there's no doubt that's exactly why I'm able to predict his current behavior so perfectly. Nevertheless, I can't possibly predict everything about him based on just a few minutes worth of data. It's just that my current goal is simply to predict how he was going to behave in a chase situation. For that, I have more than enough. That's how I knew the timing, angles, and techniques he was going to use to try and catch me. But my current prediction is that he isn't going to give up just yet. Right now, he's still perplexed at the skill I have displayed. If my prediction is correct, he's going to realize very soon that the source of my newfound power lies in my notebook. It's likely he's going to chase me much more seriously from now on. If that's the case, there's a limit to how much I can keep running away randomly. What should I do? I predict that the answer will probably come to me soon. I've been running for a while, relying on the crude map of the central plazas that's drawn in my notebook. Soon, I passed the area overgrown with trees and came to a clearing. Just as I predicted, there was a small building there. That was my destination. The moment I saw it, fear and bravery began to intermingle inside my head. But I have no choice. I have to forget any fear and anxiety. I have no choice. I have no choice if I want to beat Matsuda-kun. I have to do it. I'm sure I can do it. By the way, that wasn't a prediction just now. It was just enthusiasm. Oh, that was 7 and 8, and this is already the start of Chapter 9? That's crazy. Okay, well, I mean, I guess this is a little short. I'm very worried as to how long Chapter 9 is. Actually, I can check really quick. Oh, yeah. Alright, this will be, we're definitely going to do Chapter 9, and then I'll probably save Chapter 10 and 11 for another time. Alright, back to the top of Chapter 9. Let's go. After I reach a conclusion, there was some kind of secret hiding in that notebook. Yes, that must be it. There's no such thing as precognition. She's been insistently writing in that notebook of hers, despite the fact that terrible things are going to happen to her if she's caught, which means her secret must be in there. Madurai could not imagine what that secret was, but he was certain that there was one. Which means, if I snatch it away, everything's going to be fine. Madurai hadn't always been prone to complicated thoughts. He has often been told that, contrary to his looks, he was a cautious man, but that wasn't a trait he was born with. It was simply necessary for the job he had until recently. But now that job was meaningless. It was my fault. It was because I couldn't protect them. The only job that mattered now was finding the culprit responsible for the worst, largest incident in Host Peak Academy's history and getting revenge. I can't afford to stand still. Not now. Madurai started running again and thought about what he had to do next in simple terms. Catch my prey, hurt her, make her talk. Now, thoroughly serious, Madurai ran with all his power in the direction his prey had fled. He may have lost some time, but it was not yet a fatal loss. Even if she managed to escape, all he had to do was keep chasing her. As long as he didn't give up, it wouldn't be over. Catch, hurt, talk. He repeated those 3 words to himself, slipping through the dark trees like a black snake. He was paying careful attention to his surroundings as he ran, and suddenly, his field of vision expanded. He arrived at a small clearing that looked like a plaza. He surveyed the area and soon noticed a small prefab shed on the other side of the clearing. Light from a street lamp next to the shed flickered continuously, creating an ominous atmosphere right out of a horror movie. Suspicious, very suspicious, but even so, it would be faster to investigate than to wonder what's going on. Madurai reduced his speed and stepped carefully towards the shed. Its cream-colored walls and roof would normally seem pleasant, calming even, but under the flickering light, they just seemed eerie. Madurai stood in front of the shed and started by peeking through the window set in one of the walls. The room in front of his eyes was dusty, matching the flickering light coming from above. It must be used for storage by the custodian of the central plaza. There were shelves packed with fertilizer bags and paint cans, as well as cleaning tools cramped all over the place. He couldn't see anyone inside, but there was a lot of places someone could hide. Madurai turned away from the window and headed to the shed's entrance. The door was wooden and light. He first touched it with his fingertips, and once he confirmed it wasn't booby-trapped, he turned the handle. It didn't open. Someone must have locked it. Madurai crouched and observed the grass growing around the shed. Patches of the ankle-high weeds were bent at their tips. Someone had stepped on them recently. Well, that settles it. However, this did not at all come as relief. Quite the opposite. The cautiousness Madurai had briefly forgotten returned in full force. What kind of trap has she prepared for me? Madurai took a couple of deep breaths. Then, right after he let the deepest one out, he turned to the door and kicked it with all his strength. Wham! The door opened just a little bit, making a dull noise. Wham! Wham! After a few more kicks, the gap in the door was wide enough for a single person to pass through. Beyond that gap, there was only darkness. Madurai lowered his posture and slipped into it carefully. Excuse me, coming in. The sound of feet on sand rippled through the silence. The room was larger than it seemed from the outside, and the only illumination came from the flickering light outside the window, which had little effect on the gloomy dimness covering everything. Spiderwebs spread in every corner of the shed. Opposite the window was a large stack of shelves filled with paint cans. Gravel and dust balls were scattered all over the floor, with cleaning and maintenance tools cluttered here and there. In addition, several large heaps of fertilizer sacks were stacked all around the room. Hey, I know you're hiding somewhere. Madurai's voice echoed through the small room, and suddenly his eyes were drawn to a certain spot. Behind one of the sack heaps, he thought he saw something moving, a small, shivering movement, almost as if in response to Madurai's voice. There she is. Madurai advanced slowly toward the pile with increased cautiousness. There had to be a trap here, somewhere. Many of the tools in the shed could be used as weapons in the hand of a scared prey. Madurai could see her in his mind, hiding in the darkness, clutching one of them in her trembling hands. What are you planning? Raising his voice and staying alert, he moved even closer to the pile of sacks. By the time he reached the middle of the room, his eyes were completely adjusted to the darkness. Well, if you plan to attack me, go right ahead. Oh, sorry, I thought that might have actually been... I don't know if Rick was actually hiding in here. I feel like he might accidentally run into Junko or something. Well, if you plan to attack me, go right ahead, he said in a cruel, flat voice. But I'm warning you, you'll regret it later. You're going to be in for a world of hurt. It was only for a second, but he had no clue what was going on. He felt something exploding on his face, and a moment later, everything around him turned white. Gah! Moaning, he half opened his eyes. The surroundings were engulfed in white fog. Take that! The prey, standing in front of his eyes, threw some kind of white lump at him from behind the pile of sacks. As soon as the lump hit Madurai's body, it seemed to burst open and scatter in the air. As soon as the prey finished throwing, she thrust her hand onto one of the sacks in front of her, grabbed a large amount of powder from it, and earnestly threw a third lump at him. Take that, and that! Madurai didn't flinch, but he was astounded. That was an attack in name only, a childish quarrel. It was like a snowball fight using powder instead of snow. Stupid. Madurai's face twisted in anger. He got excessively upset at the thought he was being so cautious of what turned out to be nothing but a waste of time. Whatever, let's just end this. The flickering light reflected sharply in Madurai's eyes when... Do you know what a dust explosion is? The girl raised her voice at the exact moment Madurai was about to move. His momentum was cut off and he stopped instinctively. What do you think would happen if I start a fire right now? Ooh, what are you... right now, the room was completely covered with flying white powder. A certain disturbing image crossed Madurai's mind. He could imagine the fire spreading from one dust particle to the next, igniting them and blowing up the entire shed. If you do that, it's over for you too. I thought it's over for me no matter what I do. Upon hearing those words, Madurai remembered his own words. It's impossible to predict what someone in despair will do. Madurai concentrated his eyes on the white fog. He could see the girl's silhouette behind the dust, but he couldn't tell what expression was on her face. He brushed some of the dust from in front of his eyes and could finally see her face. It was completely blank. Furthermore, her entire body had a strange, intimidating air about it. Who the hell are you? Ah! It wasn't the face of a frightened prey. Her colorless eyes didn't even twinkle. They were just staring directly at him, unflinching. Madurai's spine shivered. I don't think you can do it. There's nothing here you can use to start a fire. The girl stayed silent. The air around Madurai became heavy as a feeling of tension wrapped itself firmly around his body. Dark emotion slowly corroded deep inside his mind. Who the hell is that girl? Madurai thought he could see his own shivering self reflected in her colorless eyes. Should I run away? Try to attack first? The two options fluttered in rapid succession inside his head. Then suddenly, for just a split second, his victim's eyes moved. Madurai turned by reflex to the point she was looking at and saw an industrial vacuum cleaner in the middle of the gutter on the floor. Right next to it was a bare electric outlet. Vacuum cleaner, electric outlet, sparks. The thoughts connected inside his brain in an association game. Before he knew it, Madurai started to move. He had no time to hesitate, no margin for caution. He had to get there faster than she could. Madurai took off, almost as if leaping at the vacuum cleaner. He stretched his long arms toward it and grabbed the hose and then pulled it strongly towards him as if he was about to wield it. That was when he felt something was not quite right. There was some resistance when he pulled. Too much resistance. That wasn't all. The girl herself didn't move a single step. Yeah, there's more than one. He could see her standing still from the corner of his eye, even now that he had the vacuum cleaner in his hand. He even thought he saw her eyes glittering in anticipation. Oh shit! The sense that something wasn't right transformed into a single word in Madurai's mind. Trap. But it was too late. A large shadow covered Madurai's vision. It was the shadow of a large stack of shells inclining slowly towards him. Cans of paint clattered in slow motion as they fell down from the shelves on their way toward him. The shadow drew near. It was already right in front of his eyes. And then with a thunderous roar and a cloud of dust, Ishi Madurai was flattened by the fallen shelves. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, alright, that was actually really did not take that much time to get through these chapters. We got through 7, 8, and 9 apparently. So we are making some pretty good progress. I am not sure if Ryoko was even one of the people in the room. I think this was either a team-up job with Ryoko and Junko helping her out, or maybe Junko and Mukuro luring him into the shed and then basically just killing him while Ryoko's just like off escaping somewhere. So I'm not entirely sure. We might get more answers with chapter 10 and 11. There's a lot of descriptions of like victim and, you know, girl and eyes and different like that, but there's no like concrete like it was this person and this person. So who knows? Maybe there's even other new characters. But all right, we should theoretically, chapter wise, we should be over halfway there. But I do think some of the upcoming chapters are going to be very long. So we will see how that goes. But hopefully y'all are still enjoying Danganronpa Zero. I think it's pretty interesting, so I'm looking forward to reading more. So hopefully y'all have been enjoying. If so, let me know, and I will see you on the next time. Till then, peace out.